Welcome to an all-new episode of the Hot Pit presented by Water Warrior Restoration. And today in the Hot Pit, we got the man behind the Northern All-Star Late Model Dirt Series and Dirt Late Model Hall of Famer, James Essex. Let's talk to him. All right, in the Hot Pit today, we've got James Essex, and we've got several things to talk about. James, thanks for joining me today.
Well, thank you, Matt. Good to be here on a lovely Thursday, I guess it is today. It's sunny right now.
Right. We've had way too much rain. Too many races being rained out. So we got a big doubleheader coming up this weekend for you, the Northern All-Star Series. I wanted to kind of showcase that, maybe a few other things you got going on. So Friday night, Circle City, 10,000 win. Is it 5,000 or 10,000 Friday night?
It's 10,000 to win Friday night and then 5,000 to win at Lawrenceburg on Saturday.
Got you. What time does everything start on Friday?
Well, we're going to open the pit gates a little earlier because I think we're going to have a really good crowd, and we're going to open them at noon for those that come into the pits. And then we'll actually open the pits at 3, and then main grandstands probably about 4 or 5, and we'll get underway about 7.
Okay. And then same thing for Lawrenceburg on Saturday?
Lawrenceburg will open the gates, I think it's 2:30, and then we'll start hot lapping at 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. Man, I'm excited about it. I mean, I know this Northern All-Star thing is taking off like a wildfire again, and a lot of drivers that I've been talking. I even did a hot pit with Devin Gilpin last night, and we were talking about the payout. You know, he finished 8th at the Ira Baston. It's still $1,600 for 8th, which is huge for these drivers right now, the way things are financially.
Well, yeah, that's our main goal when we got this started back up again last year, was to give, the regional guys good paying races and to go to other tracks that, other than Brownstown, which is really the only weekly, they do crates obviously on off weekends when they're not doing supers, but give these guys an opportunity to run at some of these facilities that they don't normally run at. And that's what our goal is. I mean, the thing about Circle City is we got that date, the CJ Rayburn, of course, my relationship with the family goes back 40 some years. And I really wanted that race. And quite honestly, they have not made any money on that race the last 2 years. And so we had to adjust the payoff. It was 10,000 and 1,000 to start, but we went to 750, which all the drivers know what it is. It's still a very good payoff. It's about $35,000 dollar payoff, but to save the race, and I mean, we didn't want to have to cancel it or not have it because, I mean, CJ is, without CJ Rayburn, none of us would probably be around. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for sure.
As far as that's concerned. And in Lawrenceburg, with the new promoter there, Shane McHenry, to get everything going there, we went with the 5,500 like we was going to do at Brownstown back the 1st of March before it got canceled twice and because of weather. So we're trying to get them on their feet, both tracks. We want them to see them make money. We want to have good shows. And I think what we need to do is when we bring the late models to both these tracks, we want to put on a good show and show these people that these people have put a lot of work into the racetrack. Like Circle City had the reputation the last few years with rocks and other things, and they pretty well alleviated that issue. And they've done a lot of work there. Lawrenceburg, with Shane taking over, it had gotten to the point where the banking on it had gone originally, Matt, from 14 degrees all the way to like 25. So they had to cut that down. And I was there for the USAC race in April, and they've done a really great job on that track. And it's both facilities are fantastic. And especially Lawrenceburg, which they hosted a Dirt Track World Championship once there back in 2000s. I think it was 2010, whatever it was. And they just don't run. The only time they run late models is when they run the Merrill Downey Memorial, July 4th weekend, and really didn't draw a whole lot of cars because there's a lot going on. But I think with this, the interest level has been very good on both races. So if the weather cooperates with us, which it's looking better, but you never know. But hopefully we can pack these places out.
Oh yeah, I agree. The weather's kind of looking spotty, but hopefully that doesn't affect anything. But
yeah,
I think that going forward, I do want to touch base with the Northern All-Stars deal about Is this something that we can see keep expanding, or you just typically want to keep it that 7-8 race schedule?
Well, obviously, I'd like to do more races. I mean, I'd like to do a neighborhood of 15 to 20, but obviously, with my Lucas Oil stuff and my Eldora stuff, the dream in the world, and other than that, it's very difficult to do that. That's why we try to fit in these races on my off weekend. Obviously, um, I've had a couple of inquiries from some people that want to help me out, that want to make this bigger and better. I'd like to get to the point where I can do a points fund. Obviously, with 6 or 7 races, that it's not feasible and a wise decision to do that, to go out and put out a $25,000 point fund. I've seen what all the regional drivers of regional series have done in the last couple of years, and they might have 3 or 4 guys that follow the whole tour. So, I mean, a point fund would be great for those guys, but I mean, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. And I think we can expand this out to, I'm not saying bigger paying races. I like to be a little bit better through the middle, obviously, but to try to expand the schedule out. And I'd like to stay around here. I mean, I've had inquiries from Michigan and Pennsylvania and Tennessee wanting races. It's like, no, I really don't want to get to that point. I mean, I travel enough with Lucas Oil that I want to keep the regional racing alive and put money in these guys' pockets and have these tracks make money. That's the bottom line. If not, then I don't know what to tell you. Because, I mean, it used to be back 80s and 90s. I mean, you had weekly late model tracks like at Bloomington and Brownstown and Twin Cities and Lawrenceburg and Union County and Hobstadt and Scottsburg and so on. And now you've only got one. I mean, at Brownstown, as far as that's concerned, and they don't run supers every week. So I see what Jim's doing there. Paying $2,000. I mean, a regular show is $2,000 now, which is great. And the thing of it is, we're trying to build this up. We're trying to get guys to move up from modifieds, which seem to be not doing so hot here in Indiana. I mean, I had thought about doing a Northern All-Star modified deal, but that doesn't seem to be feasible right now to do that. You know what I'm saying? But our goal is to keep these local guys and regional guys within this area, the Florence, the Brownstown cars, the Kentucky cars, the Southern Ohio guys, to keep them, involved in dirt late model racing. I mean, we all know it's expensive. I mean, it's been expensive for quite some time. Some people just think that's kind of a new concept, that racing's expensive, but trust me, it's expensive in all divisions.
Right. And when I talked to Devin Gilpin yesterday, that was one of the topics that we discussed was, if you can stay within that 4 or 5 hour drive
right
home, it's so much cheaper on the drivers, especially a 1-2 day deal like Circle City, Lawrenceburg, right? I mean, you're driving, that's 2 days you get a race, but it's only an hour and a half drive, 2 hours or whatever. So
right, and it's right down Interstate 74. So I mean, you're talking, I think it's 97 miles between racetracks. I mean, that's an ultimate goal in all of this. And I'd like to focus like what Hunt the Front's doing, is do a 2-day weekend, but maybe 2 different tracks. I think that that's a very realistic goal that we could do in the future. But like I said, if we could get some help, and like I said, there's been some people that have stepped up and wanting to help me, and we'll talk about that later. But I mean, I'm still planning on doing, obviously, the Lucas Oil and the Eldora stuff next year and for years to come, hopefully. And that's my bread and butter, and that's what I really enjoy doing. That, but I really enjoy doing this. It's kind of like putting my promoter's hat back on, and you have to convert. And I've talked to both tracks this weekend already, Lawrenceburg and Circle City, and we've talked about the weather. And I mean, everybody's got an app. Everybody knows what's going on. So hopefully, I mean, as of right now, everything's still a go. And the good thing about Circle City is they've got a milled, pit area, and the track drains very well. So that's an advantage. And then Lawrenceburg has really not had that much rain this week, and they can stand for a little bit of rain, but they're prepared for it. So hopefully the forecast will cooperate. And, if we have to postpone or cancel it, we'll let everybody know ahead of time. But all systems are go right now, and we hope that this all plays out.
I will say both facilities are very, very top-notch facilities.
Absolutely.
And, the whole pits is the milled rock, and it's super, super nice at both places. What you got going on with your Lucas Oil stuff, James? You want to hit on that for a minute? Where are you guys
Well,
going
we're
next?
off this weekend, obviously, and then next weekend we got the Show Me 100 week at the Lucas Oil Speedway in Wheeling, Missouri. So we got 3 nights of racing there next week. So that's great. And, we got a very good schedule. We got 14 races that pay 30,000 or more to win. So, and we did very well last week in Illinois. We had 55 cars at Farmer City and then 47 at Fairbury. So, car counts have been outstanding. The pay is good. The points fund is good. The bonus money is good. So, we're really having a good year and looking forward to the rest of the year. And all of that, of course, is on Flow. But I want to give a shout out to Ryan Bowling and Dirt to Media for what he does for me. And we've gone with kind of a different type of deal this year with the Northern All Stars with Ryan. As far as I'm sorry, I'm on the phone, obviously trying to hold on to this, but it's like, we're doing a pay-per-view for each race. We did very well at Florence, and because, it was in mid-March and there really wasn't a whole lot going on. Brownstown was okay, but this weekend will be pay-per-view. So what I found out is it's so much easier for you to film if it's on Flow, right?
Yeah.
If you got a 50% chance or more rain, people are not going to travel, 2 or 3 hours. They're going to stay home and watch it. So how does that benefit the racetrack? Well, it doesn't, because you lose ticket sales and you lose revenue from concessions and all that. We know that's a big thing. But with Ryan, the thing is, if you can't make it to the track for whatever reason, if you've got a wedding or if you've got something else going on or the weather's iffy, then you could do the pay-per-view, and that benefits the racetrack as well when you're doing that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? With Flow, you're set at 150 for a year. Yeah, I don't know all the ins and outs of what each track gets off of Flow, but I think with Ryan, with what he's doing, that helps the tracks out, because you could say have lost revenue of people that don't come to the racetrack, then they could do that. And then I know there's too many streamings, there's too many this and that. I get all of that, but just look at the NFL now. Look at the schedule they released yesterday. You've got over the air channels. You've got streaming on Netflix. You've got Peacock. You've got all of that. If you want to watch an NFL game, you're going to have all that.
Right.
If not, then you're not gonna be able to watch it. So that's the way. It's just like in NASCAR. NASCAR's got Fox and NBC, but now they're going to be streaming a lot of races, whether it's Peacock, whether it's whatever other streaming source. That's the way it is. These streaming revenues coming in. These tracks are trying to find a way to get more revenue in here to help them survive. And it's just like with what Hunt the Front is doing. They can say whatever they want to about it, but they put their race team on the map. And a lot of other racers are doing the YouTube videos or whatever. And there's got to be other ways to get revenue coming in here, because you can't depend on it all on sponsorship, because that's tough. And like I said, racing's always been expensive. I mean, I go back to the 80s when I was at Brownstown, and I could get guys to not cut. Hello, if I get this phone right, get guys, they didn't want to come. I mean, the competition was tough. I mean, we know that. It's been tough for a long, long time there. And it's like, well, I really, run against so-and-so and so-and-so and whatever. And it's like, I didn't care if you were in a Bomber or Street Stock Modified, Matt. It was expensive. And it still is, even if you're in a Hornet, whatever, a Crown Vic.
Right.
Go right. But the thing is, Matt, people, everyday life is expensive. You go to the grocery store, you go to the gas station. Like my health insurance went up, I don't know, $80 or $90 this year per month. So it's like everything is inflation. Really, we're kind of in a recession. Might as well just say we're in a recession. But inflation is horrible. The price of everything. I mean, I know of 7 or 8 guys that's got late models that don't have motors yet because they're waiting on parts from their engine builder. And it seemed like that we were over that in 2020, that we had reached that point in 2020, 21, where that was a common thing, where part shortages, right?
Yeah.
And now it seems like it's back again, whether it's pistons, camshafts, whatever it is. It's just part of life. I mean, it's expensive in 2024 every day to do stuff. And You know, I talked to a friend. They going to go to Kings Island in Cincinnati. It's like $55 a person.
Right.
You go to the Indianapolis Zoo. What is it? I don't. It's somebody told me it's like $50 a person.
Yeah. So
so you try to go to a Reds game or a Colts game or any type of sporting event, it's not going to be cheap, and then you have to pay $10 for a beer or $8 for a water or whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? It's not a new concept that the racing's expensive. It's just that everything's expensive.
Right. So, the conversation about racing is expensive, but yet, we had mid 40s, 50 cars at Fairbury and Farmer City. I mean, to me, that's a great thing.
Yeah, let me say something. And everybody, I think, saw Ryan Unzicker's post, and I respect Ryan Unzicker. He's a great racer. And I see where he's coming from. And these guys put a lot of hours, a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of family commitments that they don't get to do. And I know he was frustrated because he didn't make a race either night. And he's won championships. He's leading the Mars points. There's a lot of Mars races, obviously, in his area that he'll be running. There'll be a lot of Summer Nationals races. And I know he's disappointed not to make the show. And he didn't cut. I mean, it's tough for everyone. I don't see how anybody does it. It's very difficult. But if you've got the money to do it, whether you run Lucas or Outlaws or whatever you run, go for it. I mean, if you can, I look at we're paying more money than ever before in late model racing, sprint car racing. Look how much more they're paying on that. And if you can go do it, then do it. It's none of my business what these guys spend on their cars. I mean, we can't control Lucas or Outlaws or Hunt the Front or Dirt Car. They can't. How are they going to control? Yeah, there's some things they can do. Everybody talks about the bodies on the late models. Well, I've seen bodies on the modifieds last weekend that are way out of whack, it seems like to me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
yeah. And the thing of it is, then you try to do something and people are like, oh, no, they need to worry about something else. Like, well, you all told us that we need to work on the bodies, and then we try to enforce body rules, and then you say, well, no, we need to do this on shocks. We need to do this. Right. We need to, do whatever. We need to get rid of aero. Aero's a part of life. Aero is in IndyCar, NASCAR, sprint car, any big track. Eldora especially, it's noticeable when you're trying to do something. It's just part of the evolution. This is not 1990 or 2000 or whatever. Things change. The evolution of whatever from when CJ Rayburn had his first race car has just been unbelievable. And if you can afford to go do it, do it. But now, a lot of these guys, they don't want to step out of super late models. If they step out of super late models, then they just soon quit. Well, that's their prerogative if they want to do that. But a lot of guys don't want to run crates. They don't want to run modifieds. And I get all of that. It's just, I mean, back at Brownstown in the 80s and 90s, everybody wanted to move from bomber, street stock, modified into late models. Right. That was what people did. They don't do it anymore. Now you have Matt Bodnick obviously doing it. First time in 26 years he's back in a late model, which is great. But you have people all the time wanting to get back into it. Yeah, you always have a few, like a Kent Robinson. He's got business commitments, family commitments. People don't realize how much time it takes to do this. Now, these guys in Lucas Oil Outlaws, they got full-time crews.
Right.
24/7, they're working on it. These guys here got a 9-to-5 job. They get home, they got to eat dinner, eat supper. Then they go out in the garage and they work for a few hours. And time is the big thing. And obviously money. And, I don't know what the answer is, to be honest with you. But I understand where Ryan Unzicker's coming. I think a lot of us spoken out of frustration, but people take it as if this thing is way out of control. And it's, as far as what are you going to do on the tires? I've had people ask me, why don't you let us run American Racer? I get no money from Hoosier or anybody as far as that's concerned. But the thing of it is, it's like, I'm only running 6 or 7 races. Why do you want to go out and spend thousands of dollars to buy a certain tire brand? You got to buy rims, you got to buy these tires, and then I'm only running 6 or 7 times, and then really you can't run them anywhere else.
Right.
So what sense does that make? You can't help you try to save these guys from themselves, and it's not really possible. And I was in the formation of UMP in 1984 when the wedge cars, I mean, end of 82, end of 82 and 83, and car counts went down. And Brownstown actually dropped super late models, and they went with what they called a limited late model, which was a stock front clip car. I think it was 11-inch tires maybe, and then UMP comes along in 84 and changed the body rules, changes everything, and went to Hoosier Tire exclusively. X amount of dollars per tire went to the points fund. Nobody had a problem with it. But then down the road, everybody had a problem with it. You know, it's like, why are we doing it? And that's just the way it is. And, I've gone through it all basically in late model racing, from, stock cars to where it is today. And people say, well, the racing was better back in whatever. And yeah, the racing was really good, but you had a lot more cars.
Yeah.
You had a lot more cars back then on a regular show. I mean, you could go to Brownstown, you could have 40 late models, 40 street stocks, 40 bombers, and 40 modifieds. We had it made because we're right in the middle of CJ Rayburn and Masters Built.
Right.
So you had it made. I mean, for years and years and years, it was like that. And then all of a sudden, that's all, basically, not existent anymore. So what do? You go run crates, and that's fine. But the people sitting in the grandstand, they know the difference.
Oh, for sure.
None against the crate guys. I mean, I think Brownstown, and they had a good racetrack last week and a pretty good crowd. Those guys in the crates, they work as hard as the guys in the supers, and there'll be some running with us this weekend. But it's like these fans cannot afford to go every week. And I mean, I used to go 2 or 3 times a weekend religiously throughout the spring and summer.
Right.
And I know of a lot of people that's passed away in the last, 5 to 10 years that were just hardcore fans that were Brownstown every week. They're not there anymore. And you have to get the younger kids involved. And that's where I like, what Hudson and some of these other guys are doing with Ricky Thornton with the kids and all that, and getting them involved. And that's awesome. And, but there's just so much going on, Matt.
Oh, yeah, there is.
I think you said that with Devin on his interview. There's just so much going on. And if it's a 50% chance of rain, they can say, well, I could just stay home in my man cave or living room and watch it on Flow or whatever. And I respect that, and I understand that, but it's a tough, I don't know what the future holds for streaming. It's here to stay.
Right.
So I don't know, but we're just trying to help the local tracks and the local drivers, the regional guys, and helping them out with bringing them to tracks that don't normally run super late models, and to give them some pretty good money to run for, Matt.
Gotcha.
Sorry I took up a lot of your time there.
That was all great. It's a great topic, because even to the point of, even in the mid 90s when I was going to the races and I was a young kid or whatever, we didn't have travel ball. We didn't have all that stuff. So we went to the racetrack on the weekends, but now you got travel ball and family stuff going on. That takes precedent over racing anymore.
Well, trust me, I missed a lot of weddings. I missed a lot of family functions. And I guess that's one reason I got divorced, but, never marry a wife that doesn't like racing. That's my tip of the day. But, I lived and breathed it. I mean, I couldn't wait till Friday night to go to Scottsburg or Charlestown or Bloomington or wherever. And of course, living for Brownstown on Saturday nights, and Sundays, I'd go to either Putnamville or Hobstadt or whatever. But I mean, I couldn't wait. When Monday hit, it was like, and when we had a rain out, I was just depressed as all get. And I still get depressed on rainouts. It's just like it ruins your whole week if it rains it out. You know what I'm saying? You get up on Saturday morning and then it's raining or whatever, and they have to call it, and it's like, man, that's depressing. And it's like with announcers. I mean, no one first can. I mean, all the work you put into it. I mean, it's not as extensive as what these race teams do, but it's a lot of work to do that. And, I respect all announcers do it. And it's a difficult thing for local tracks to commit to an announcer to commit, because you just can't find that anymore, that people could commit every week.
Right. I tell you what's crazy for you, James, is like, we had silly season in the winter, and then you could do all your research or whatever. But now it's like it's a year round thing for especially for you guys. You know,
Well, it's like with Hudson and Rocket One. It's like, how did I not know? It's like Hudson O'Neill lives like 3 or 4 miles from me, and I never heard a word from him, and I never approached him. It was none of my business, and I could have probably drove over there and asked him, and no, it's none of my business, and let it's between him and Mark, and there you go. And it's like, that's just the way it is, and I'm telling you the truth. And it's like, even if I knew anything, I wouldn't say anything. But it's like, those things happen. Yeah. I mean, it's like comes out of the blue. Nobody saw it coming, but it happens. And it's like, it's like a lot of things I've seen in racing. But, I look at it as to where I don't know why people think it's their business to know.
Right.
Well, if I buy a shirt, I deserve to know what's going on. No, you don't. No, you don't. You're a fan. I get it. But you don't have a right to know any personal issues or anything, going on with a race team or whatever that maybe you don't like or whatever. That's, and I'm sure they parted ways, and Hudson's on his own. Mark is with Tim McCready. Everybody's going to go down the road. It's,
life goes on.
That's just the way it is. And it's like, hey, I don't delve in all these, there's things happen every weekend. I mean, with people, it's like, no, I mean, it's just not for people to, I don't know. If they don't want to tell me, I don't want to know, and I don't delve into it, and I don't ask them, and I don't call them, and I don't email them, and I don't. But no, what I want to say is, as far as racing, I mean, it's something I love, and I would just love to do it forever. I mean, it's not going to happen forever. I mean, I'm 60 years old. I've done this for 40 some years. I mean, I just go year to year and give it all of my effort, 100% every time I do it. I have never done a race in my lifetime that I've done less than that I've just mailed it in or whatever you want to say. And it's like, I always give full effort, and whether people like that or not, I know there's always a few. I mean, not everybody's going to like you, and that's just the same with any announcer. But it's like, hey, nobody, I mean, I look at it in the last 40 years in this area, probably nobody has done more for the racers or for whoever than probably I have. And I'm not one to even brag on myself, or even, I hate talking about myself, but I'm just saying that I've committed most of my life to this area in racing, and that's what I would continue to do until I no longer can. I don't know what else to say about that. You know what I'm saying?
You're a great ambassador to the sport, James. And I know a lot of people look up to you, and for that reason. I mean, even as a young kid, when I was going to Brownstown, I mean, my uncle sold souvenirs for you when you was promoting Brownstown. I've been around Brownstown my whole life. And like you said, just when you devote your life to it, for you, it's just, obviously that's a great thing for the sport. It's got to be there or it doesn't happen, right?
Well, it's hard to find people like that nowadays. I mean, you have people that, that didn't grow up in this and they don't understand, but it's like these racers, the time, I mean, it used to be back in the day, like I said, and even it used to be back in the day. I mean, you've got a lot of full-time racers right now, and that's all they do. And I get it. Back in the day, a guy had a 9-to-5 job, and then sometimes it was later than that, or they owned their own business, and that still takes a lot of time and money and effort to do that. And then you go to the race shop at night, and you're in there from 6 o'clock till midnight or 6 to 10 or whatever. It takes a lot away from your family, your kids, whatever. And like you said, there's more during the summer. There's more, basketball camps, baseball camps, volleyball. Everybody's involved in it, and I never had any kids, so I really didn't have to do that. But I had nieces and nephews when I was married, and like I said, I missed birthday parties and missed graduations and so on. I mean, I didn't even go to my own college graduation at Vincennes University because I had to be a race at Brownstown.
That's dedication.
They mailed me my diploma, so it's like, oh, it's all right.
Well, like I said, I don't want to take up too much of your time today. I just wanted to kind of showcase the Northern All-Star deal you had going on this weekend. Just kind of get your opinion on some racing topics and stuff that was going on.
Yeah, and like I said, everything is still on, and hopefully everything will work out, and we'll get both shows in, because I think it's it's a really good thing. And there hasn't been a lot of super late model racing around the state. I mean, this year it's been a lot of cancellations and a lot of postponements and so on. But I want to say one more thing, and it has to do with rainouts and rain. Whenever tracks or series or whatever, and they make a post about a race, and people come on and say it's going to rain it out, they should cancel it now. It's like, it's not your money. You have no skin in the game. I understand you're a fan, but my question is to those people that say that, Matt Lamar, is, were you coming to that race?
Exactly.
Were you coming to that race?
Exactly.
And it's just like, if you were coming to that race and you were on your way, I understand we're all disappointed. Yes. We're all disappointed on a rain out. But when you got, just like a few weeks ago at Florence, when we canceled on a Friday, and it's like they had a flood. They had 1 to 2 inches of rain on that Saturday morning. Ponderosa the same way. It rained on Friday morning and rained Friday night. There was no way it was going to get those in. But the people that come on and complain were not even coming anyway.
No,
right?
No.
They were not even coming anyway. They live 4 or 5 hours away. Why are you canceling it so early? Why are these series and tracks canceling so early? Well, it's because at Florence, it was a $68,000 purse. Okay. And the same way with Brownstown on Tuesday, $68,000 purse. Okay. And the forecast had been horrible since the end of last week. So they pulled the plug on it when Sunday night or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's disappointing, but I don't know. It's just frustrating. People don't realize that when they go in there and post stuff like that it hurts the track. Well, it's going to rain. Right. They might as well cancel it now. And then here's the thing is, Matt, that we've learned: if you cancel it on a Thursday or on a Friday and Saturday it rains, then you're okay. But if it doesn't rain and it's like everybody gets mad and everybody's like, well, you should have ran it, you should have waited. No, that's not the way it is. It's like with Lucas Oil a few weeks ago, Florence. We have guys that run with us that live in Florida, Delaware, North Carolina, Pennsylvania. Davenport's team's based out of Arkansas. You got Georgia racers. You got all of this, Tennessee. Why make them drive all that way if you're not gonna be able to get, the show in? So right. It's like, why waste everybody's time and money? Now with Circle City and Lawrenceburg, we got guys probably 2 or 3 hours away. So if we have to make the call early on tomorrow, we will. If there's not enough rain to matter, then we're going to race and we'll go from there then. But I think for a traveling series, people just don't understand. I mean, Steve Francis has had to do it. He's had to cancel on a Wednesday or Thursday. Rick Schwally's had to cancel. Sometimes the weatherman's right and sometimes he's wrong. So it is what it is. But my goodness, we've got 7 more months of racing. 6 more months of racing. So I understand we're all disappointed. I want to state that you don't cancel it on purpose. You cancel it for the best regard for everything. And everything is so expensive that it's just like, it's the best call. But yeah, hopefully this weekend we'll get some cooperation from the weather people and we'll get both shows in and have a packed house and have at it. Yeah. I don't know what else to say, man, but that was my point on the rainouts, is that I don't understand why people need to comment on, well, it's going to rain. Everybody's got a weather. They act like that we don't know what's going on, whether you're a series director or a promoter. Well, surely they know it's going to rain. No, they don't. They've got, you got 10 apps and heck, 9 of them could be different. I don't know what I'm saying.
True. And I will say one thing about the flow deal that I liked is also too, if you know that there's a chance it's not going to get in and they cancel 2 days early, I'm fine with that. Like it's plenty of plenty of notice that it's going to be canceled. Yes, I'm disappointed. I really wanted to go, but right. It's not canceling 3:00 the day of the event. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, get everybody in there and then pull the plug on it. Well, we're not going to be able to do that. That's like back at the Ira Basto Memorial, at Brownstown. It's like, I talked to Jim Price. It was cool that week. It was actually cold, 40 degrees and rainy. And he called me on a Friday morning and said, I think we can do it. I think I can get the track ready. He had not been able to work on the track since the Saturday they ran the sprints. And it's like, do you think you can do it? He said, yeah, I got a gut feeling I could do it. And the only saving grace on that event was the sun was out on Saturday all day. If we had woke up Saturday morning and it had been cloudy and overcast, we'd have pulled the plug on it, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, then we have the icebreaker, and you know, and for Lucas Oil and all, it was a terrific show. But it's like, what do? It's 50 degrees, 55 degrees. The wind is blowing. The wind chill's bad. The sun was out, which helped. Again, the point is, you wake up, you got guys driving from 12 hours away. So you got to make a call on that. But so Rick decided, and they decided they was going to race. It all worked out. Track was good, and you have that. So
excellent race.
But yeah, excellent race. And even the Ira Baston race was very good. And the thing of it is that's the thing with the traveling series and more of a regional series that I look at, is to where, okay, I got guys 2 or 3 hours away. It's like, if we can get this in, we'll try our best. Because like I said, you don't have guys traveling from Delaware and Florida and North Carolina and Arkansas and Pennsylvania to go to a Lucas race. So, you know, hopefully it'll all work out. And you know what'll happen? It'll probably start next week. We'll go into a drought. It'll be 90 degrees every day and no rain and for 3 or 4 months. And then we'll all be complaining about that. But I just wanted to state that about the rain. It's aggravating. You know, I would never think to go on and like I said, I've been in this over 40 years. I would never go on somebody's post and say, it's going to rain, y'all just cancel it now. I mean, it's just totally ridiculous that people say that, but
yes,
you know how it is. You know how social media is, that, you know, that it's the same way with all kinds of sports. I mean, you have people that criticize sport, whether it's IU, Purdue, the Colts, whoever, people, if they lose, then it's like, you know, people just rail on them for everything. If they win, nobody says nothing. But
right, exactly, 100%.
But if you go in there and it's rained and the track is bad, and it's like it happened to the Indiana Icebreaker a couple years ago, which was not good. I mean, that's my home track. You don't think I felt bad about it? I felt absolutely horrible about it. They rescheduled it for September of the Jackson that year, but it's like, you know, they should have canceled it on Friday, or they should have done this after the first car flip. I get all that. But then there are people that I've read comments to where they think that everybody's like the Rocket team, where you've got 10 cars in a race shop and 10 motors, and that if they blow up a motor or wreck a car, no big deal. Right. A lot of these other guys don't have that. Just look a couple weeks ago at the Hunt the Front race, Scott Bloomquist and Chris Ferguson get tore up. They don't even have a backup car. So they're scrambling to try to find something to race the next weekend or in a couple weeks or whatever. So not everybody's like that, to where you've got 10 cars waiting for you to roll one out. It don't happen that way. And, you know, but I hope that we can get, you know, like I said, the 7 or 8 guys that I know of that hopefully we can get motors in those cars and get them out hopefully this weekend or in the future. And like I said, it's something to build on with this Northern All-Stars, and that's what we're going to try to do. And, you know, that's the way that's what we're doing right now.
Well, good deal.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time. Like I said, I've talked about doing this for a long time. It's just, we're both so busy. It's just hard to find time and that type of stuff. But I definitely appreciate.
Well, sorry, I couldn't go through I don't know why my computer, we couldn't get the voice to work or whatever.
It's all good. Technology.
So I'm trying to hold the phone, and I know it's kind of cattywampus sometimes, but that's the way it goes. But yeah, I appreciate your support. I appreciate your guys' show on Thursday nights. You do a really good job, and I'll tune in every once in a while and listen when I can, and all the guys do a good job, and just appreciate everybody's support.
Yeah, we appreciate your support, James. Hopefully we'll see you this weekend.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you later, James.
Thank you, Matt.